Hello and welcome to Living the Dream for General Practitioners, the podcast for doctors and clinic leaders who want to learn about pathways, strategies and opportunities for living and working in Australia. Join me, Gemma Gough, and my expert guests as we share stories, unlock the secrets to recruitment success, share tips for moving across the world, navigating new cultures and so much more. This show is brought to you by Health Recruitment Australia. Now sit back, relax and enjoy this episode. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of our GP Recruitment Fundamentals podcast series. Today I'm going to break down the process of moving to Australia by starting with answering a question we get asked so often: where do I start? So a good place to start is acknowledging why you're looking to move to Australia. Is that to move closer to family? Is it to spend more time with the children? Is it to get a better work-life balance? Perhaps you want to work less hours but without a drop in income. There are so many reasons why health professionals are considering a move to Australia, and knowing what your reason is will be of great value to you as you make these decisions along the way. So I'd then be looking at asking the question as to what you're looking to do in your downtime. You might be thinking, well, surely I need to get a job before I decide what I can do in my downtime. I would disagree. So a focus of your relocation really should be about regaining that work-life balance. Setting up home in an area where you can have fulfillment and happiness outside of work is important to maintaining a healthy mindset, which can only improve and benefit your work. For example, you'd like to take up surfing, so beach lifestyle is key. Perhaps you would like to travel more, so easy access to the airports is on your must-have list. You'd like some land, a property to enjoy a hobby farm, so the children can finally have that pony they've been asking for. So that means country life is most suited to you. So now you've decided what area you would like to live in. It's time to think about going to work. What does this look like for you? Are you looking to be a GP partner? Are you looking to be an employee? Are you looking to be an independent practitioner? What's your earning potential? What kind of financial lifestyle are you looking for? Consult durations, whether you'd like to work for a small family practice or a large corporate practice. There's no one size fits all, and serious consideration should be given to your short, medium and long-term career and lifestyle goals. We'll touch a little bit more about that in our next episode, which we've called Identifying the Right Clinic. But those are the sorts of things you can start thinking about now. So you've chosen chosen the area that you would like to live in and the type of healthcare facility that you would like to work in. Now it's time to put your recruiter to work in finding the best fit for you. Now, much of that initial paperwork side of the migration can be done in parallel to considering what we've just talked about. So one of the first things that you need to do is to obtain recognition of your medical degree. Your school and your university must be listed by the Australian Medical Council and the World Directory of Medical Schools. It has to be on both of those lists. You can then have a medical skills assessment, which will determine which pathway of registration you're eligible for. To do this, you will need to create an account on a platform such as the Electronic Portfolio of International Credentials, known as EPIC. There are other platforms available, but this seems to be the go-to one at the moment. Essentially, you upload documents such as your medical school diploma, transcripts, postgrad medical education credentials, certificates of medical registration and licensing. These are then assessed and notification is then sent to the AMC in regards to your suitability to work here in Australia as a GP. So once you've obtained your verification and you know which pathway that you can proceed on, you could submit an application directly to the Medical Board of Australia or start the AMC examination process. Now, GPs who are looking for limited or provisional registration, they'll be required to sit some exams. So the AMC MCQ exam is the first one, and that's a 150 question, multiple choice question exam, covering sort of essential medical knowledge and how to do clinical examinations, diagnosis, treatment, etc. Hopefully you pass that exam, and then you can look for a clinic to work in, when you will then be required to sit the pre-employment structured clinical exam, or PESCI. That exam is specific to the clinic that you're going to be working in. So essentially, the scenarios are based on clinical presentations of the clinic that you've been offered a position with, and they'll look to your suitability to work in that clinic. So once you've passed those exams, you've done your English language testing, you can apply for limited registration, where you're then supervised for 12 months until you sit some other exams, by which point you're then eligible for general registration, application for general registration. If you are assessed by EPIC as being eligible for provisional registration via the competent authority pathway, so this would generally apply to GPs who are coming from the UK, for example, you don't need to sit any of the exams I've just mentioned. You can go straight to joining a pathway to fellowship with either the RACGP or ACRM. So both have various pathways depending on your personal circumstances. But for the purpose of this recording, I'm going to talk about the RACG's Practice Experience Programme, or PEP, which is for international medical graduates with a recognised overseas specialist qualification who wish to qualify for the fellowship of the RACGP. So there are two streams, standard and specialist. There are 3 steps to commencing either programme, and they're rather time consuming. So part A is the comparability assessment application. The college will decide whether you are suited to the stream that you're applying for. Then there's part B. You submit to the college information about the practice where you've had the job offer in Australia, which must include things like scope of practice and location. If the college deem this as an appropriate fit, and things like distribution priority area, or DPA, will be considered in these applications. Again, we talk about that a little bit later on in another episode. If the college does deem this as an appropriate fit, you move to part C, which is your right to work application. And that includes your visa application, your Medicare provider and prescriber number applications. Now, we talk to both employers and GPs frequently about the misconceptions regarding the time frame for these. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight, and a 12 to 18 month processing time is normal, is perfectly normal, from taking your first steps through to actually consulting your first patient in Australia. Lots of things you can do in parallel, but lots of things also can't be started until they're triggered by the completion of another step in the process. For example, you can't do part B of PEP until part A is completed. Now, part A can take 10 weeks for that bit. Part B and C is another 15 weeks. Some parts of the process you actually can't complete until you're physically in Australia, which would be your identity checks with ARPRA. Again, we'll talk about that in another episode. But it's really important that you lean on a good recruiter who can keep you on track, and make sure that you don't miss any of those really important steps in the process. And it might be that you're in the very early stages of thinking about moving to Australia. You could be in medical school, but know that Australia is where you want to be. Well, it's okay to reach out to your recruiter now and start planting the seed as to what the future looks like for you. You might be a more established GP who is looking at retirement in the next few years. So you're looking to step away from general practice full time and looking to slowly step away from the practice that you've built for many, many years. A recruiter can help you do that. So to recap, if you're considering a move to Australia to work as a GP, ask yourself 3 questions. What are you hoping to achieve with this move? What would you like to do in your downtime? And going to work, what does this look like? And as I say, we'll touch on that a little bit more in our next episode, which we've called Identifying the Right Clinic for You. I meet with a great practice manager, Gemma Gough, who is running the Australia Health Alliance Seaford Meadows Day and Night Clinic, which is a very successful clinic in the southern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. Jess will talk to us about how they work with recruiters and sign with GPs to come and work in their facilities, how their orientation and induction into the Australian healthcare works. It'll be a great chat. So while you're considering your answers to those 3 questions, check your medical school is listed on the Australian Medical Council and the World Directory of Medical Schools. If it is, then you can set up an Epic account and upload your documents for verification. And then consider what pathway you think is going to be most appropriate for you. So our next episode, as I say, is titled Identifying the Right Clinic for You. We will ask you some more thought-provoking questions to assist you in deciding what type of healthcare facility that you'd like to work in and whether a move to Australia is right for you. So I look forward to you joining me then. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Living the Dream for General Practitioners. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite podcast player so you don't miss an episode. At Health Recruitment Australia, we want to see more happy GPs, thriving medical practices and healthy communities. If you'd like to join us on our mission, visit healthrecruitmentaustralia.com.au to explore opportunities and get in touch. Thanks for listening.